The Alpha's regret. Synopsis. They believed Dalia was his destined mate, but I was the one chosen by the moon goddess. No one knew I was the true soulmate of Xaden, the Iron Moon Pack's head Alpha. To the world, I was the other woman, the mistake. All because Dalia, his childhood friend, had always stood beside him, admired for her soft voice and fragile beauty. When I became pregnant, Xaden chose silence over truth. To protect Dalia's image, he claimed she was carrying his pup, not me. My heart shattered. If they knew she had no mate, he said, they'd shame her. She wouldn't survive the weight of their judgment. And what about me? What about our child? While he left to find herbs for Dalia, the elders came. Cold. Ruthless. They forced me to end my pregnancy, declaring my pup a stain on the Iron Moon Pack's honor. By the time Xaden returned, it was too late. Our baby was gone. And I was gone, too. I ignored the physician's disdainful expression and caressed my flat stomach with excitement. I couldn't wait to tell my friend the news, only to see him wrap his arms around another woman. I can't believe it, Xaden. I'm pregnant with our pup. Quick! Give me your hand, you can feel him move. Xaden smiled softly. He was about to reach out his hand when he noticed me in his peripheral vision. He quickly pulled his hand back. Sandra! What are you doing here? I threw the herbs in his face. Had Xaden betrayed me, I wondered, but I didn't feel the heartbreaking pain of betrayal by my supposed soulmate. This implied that, physically, he had not. How dare you cause a scene in front of Mr. Xaden and Miss Dalia, wench? Other tribal members who had come to see the doctor pointed their fingers at me. How ridiculous! The moon goddess had chosen me to be Xaden's mate, but everyone treated me as if I was his mistress. I turned 18 3 years ago and was mated to Xaden, who had fought his brothers to become the Iron Moon Pack's Alpha. To gain the pack's support, Xaden claimed that the moon goddess had not assigned him a mate. He even sought the advice of a fake divinator, who predicted that he would devote his entire life to the pack and never find a mate. In contrast to his brothers, who were never seen without a beautiful lady in their arms, tribal support leaned towards him. Xaden begged me to keep our relationship quiet, which I did. I am pregnant with Xaden's pup. Have some shame and leave the father of my pup alone, Dalia called out. Her words cut deep. I fled in tears, only for Xaden to find me shortly afterwards. He wrapped his arms gently around me. Please, Sandra, don't cry. Dalia's pup isn't mine. Xaden! How could you reveal the truth to that lowly maid? Do not tell me she's actually your mistress. Dalia, who had followed Xaden, exclaimed, her eyes wide with disbelief. Xaden wiped away my tears and reprimanded her. Sandra is not a mistress. She is my soulmate, chosen by the moon goddess herself. After the initial shock subsided, Dalia pretended to be concerned. Is that so? What a pity. Everyone knows she's just a maid, and the pup in her belly must belong to some mystery man. Previously, with Xaden chasing me, Dalia was left to explain the confusion to everyone. She told a story, claiming I was the sister of Xaden's former comrade, whom he had taken in as a maid after my brother died. Dalia, Xaden's mate, did not feel the sharp pain of a mate's betrayal. Although the pack physician confirmed my pregnancy, she had no idea who my pup's father might be. As a result, everyone assumed I was a shameless wench. In rage, I slapped Zayden. Dalia's words shocked him as well. Dalia! How dare you slander Sandra in front of everyone? Dalia said shakily, I'm sorry, Zayden. I didn't realize she was your mate. She turned to me with a hint of regret in her voice. Zayden had already informed everyone in Skelvaria that I was carrying his child in order to protect my reputation. I apologized to Sandra. Don't worry. I refuse to let them mistreat your child. I'll raise him as my own, but they'll never call you mom. I was about to demand answers from Zayden. How could he be so heartless, putting Dalia's reputation ahead of our child, when he turned to me, his eyes filled with tears. He apologized, saying, I'm sorry, Sandra. I promised Dalia's brother that I would care for her and his parents. Dalia has always been a gentle and quiet girl. Everyone in the pack would point fingers at her if they found out she was pregnant before she found a mate. What if she can't bear the shame and takes her own life because of the gossip? That was it. Dalia was the sister of Zayden's former comrade. To fulfill his vow, Zayden was willing to subject our pup to scrutiny and rumors in a pack where lineage was highly valued. Don't worry. I'll come clean about our son's identity soon. Once Dalia turns 18 and is assigned a mate, I'll inform our pack mates about our relationship and clarify our son's birthright. I looked at this selfish man I referred to as my mate and regretted compromising for the first time. When I returned to Zayden's castle, people were carrying an endless stream of pregnancy and newborn supplies. There were ivory wind chimes and a brocade-covered cradle labeled Dalia's son. Dalia boasted, I apologize, Sandra, I didn't realize you were expecting, so I put my name on all of them. I can give you 1 or 2 pieces for free, if you want. Zayden had them custom-made from various packs. They're extremely expensive. As tears welled up in my eyes, Zayden scolded her, but Dalia playfully stuck her tongue out. Fine. I apologize. Who knew she couldn't handle a joke? Zayden was about to console me when a middle-aged couple burst in and chastised Dalia. The entire pack is talking about your pregnancy, Dalia. Explain yourself. You don't even have a mate yet. You've brought shame upon our family. They were Dalia's parents. They were quite traditional, which is why Dalia made it a point to maintain her facade of the good daughter, despite the fact that she was anything but. Dalia's mother began coughing up blood as she struggled to accept her daughter's premarital pregnancy. Zayden quickly stepped forward, explaining that Dalia's puppy was his. Even though the moon goddess had not assigned him a mate, he accepted Dalia as his mate and made her the Luna of the Iron Moon pack. Dalia's parents finally left. After sending them off, Zayden turned to me and said, You saw it yourself, Sandra. Dalia's parents are very traditional, I had no choice but to claim her pup. Do you understand, Sandra? You always have. He pleaded with me. Before I could accept what was going on, Dalia's family had forcibly moved into the palace as if they owned it. Dalia, the future Luna, changed the curtains, artwork, and decorations that I had carefully chosen to her preferred styles. I was ready to intervene, but Zayden stopped me. Dalia's parents are still present. They can't know you decorated the palace. Don't worry, I'll make sure everything is restored after they leave. Dalia then settled into the largest and brightest guest room available. Zayden, a cowardly and self-centered man, would always side with Dalia whenever we disagreed. He spent most of his time with Dalia, leaving little time for me. Fearing that I would leave, he had a witch cast a spell on me, binding me to the castle until after my child was born. I reached out to the unseen barrier outside the castle walls and felt trapped. I needed to get out of here. Growing up without my parents, I understood the weight of being constantly judged, and I refused to subject my child to the same scrutiny. Desperate to leave, I turned to Dalia for help, expecting her to help me escape the palace because it was in her best interests. However, to my dismay, she quickly revealed my intentions to Zayden. How could a good girl like me defy Zayden's wishes? She said, mischievously. Zayden, in turn, reinforced the spell and complimented Dalia on her apparent empathy. Why can't you be more compassionate? Learn from Dalia's example. I tried to be kind, but my patience with Zayden was wearing thin. Why are you still thinking about leaving me? Zayden sneaked into my room through the window in the dead of night. I promise not to prolong your suffering, Sandra. Only a few more months, please. You know I love you, Sandra. His expression was tender, but I felt repulsion. I reluctantly responded, but you must remove the hex. I can't remain confined in the castle constantly. I need to bask in the sunlight. He happily accepted my request and drew me into his arms. I suppressed the urge to push him away and began planning my escape. Before I could carry out my plans, chaos arrived at my door. Look at this scarf, Sandra. Zayden was worried I would feel cold, so he had the dressmakers stitch it for me. It's even got his clan emblem on it. Dalia was proud. I ignored the scarf in her hands, but my attention was drawn to the pearl necklace around her neck. I couldn't believe my eyes. Where did you get that necklace from? You recognize it, don't you? It's yours. I forgot to bring accessories when I moved to the palace, so I asked Zayden for some and he gave this to me without hesitation, she told me proudly. I moved forward to grab it. Give it back. It's mine. I swear I hadn't touched her, but she stumbled backward, clutching her stomach with a painful expression on her face. Sandra, what are you doing? Zayden rushed forward to help Dalia get to her feet. She's pregnant. Why would you push her? I didn't push her. But you, how could you give her my necklace? You know that's all I have left of my parents. It's just a necklace. How could you push Dalia over something so trivial? When did you become so heartless? Zayden yelled at me. He had his guards summon the pack physician and then gently consoled her, while Dalia concealed a mischievous grin in his embrace. Zayden locked me in my room and demanded that I apologize for my mistakes. He forbade anyone from bringing me food until I had made satisfactory amends. That night, Zayden entered my room exhausted. Do you realize what you've done, Sandra? The doctor says Dalia's puppy might not survive. Because of your error, I have to go look for birthing herbs in other packs now. I hope you realize your mistakes by the time I return. Zayden's attempt at guilt-tripping me was laughable, but after a day of starvation, I didn't have the energy to argue. The next day, Zayden's subordinates rushed into my room after he left the group. "Miss Sandra, our pack prioritizes respect and tradition above all else. We wolves mate for life. Your shamelessness has led you to bear the pup of an unknown man, and you continue to linger by Mr. Zayden's side. We will not let you tarnish his reputation. This concoction will eliminate the fatherless pup in your stomach. Drink it, then leave." They grabbed my body and forced me to swallow the concoction. My puppy was my only family in this world, and I refused to let them harm it. Despite my best efforts, a starving woman was no match for Zayden's powerful subordinates, who threw me out of the castle after forcing it down my throat. I felt blood trickle down my legs and the hex lift as my unborn puppy slipped through my fingers. I couldn't leave yet because my necklace was still with Dalia. I crawled weakly until a pair of clean boots appeared in front of me, and then I looked up to see the woman I had been looking for. "How pitiful you are, Sandra. Tisk. Take your filthy hands away from me." She stomped on my hand in disgust. "Give my necklace back to me." I struggled to stand up and grab what was mine. As if I would want something so cheap. Dalia removed the necklace and threw it away, as if out of kindness of heart. "Go get it and scram, Sandra. You'll never win against me," she mocked before leaving with a contemptuous smile. It took all of my strength to pick up the necklace from where she threw it before I passed out in the bushes. Suddenly, warm hands wrapped around me and an elderly woman brushed my hair away from my neck. After a careful examination, she exclaimed shakily, "Her birthmark. The necklace. It's Sandra. We have found her." A week later, Zayden returned to the castle and went directly to Dalia. He spent a long time asking how she felt before remembering my existence. "Where is Sandra?" Zayden inquired. "I brought her a gift." His guard's hesitation caused him to feel uneasy. It was too late, the elderly couple had already taken me away, and the next chapter of my life had just begun. Where am I? I wondered. I felt as if I were lying on a soft bed, with a warm hand lifting my head and feeding medicine into my mouth. Fuzzy-eyed, I inquired, Who are you?" My voice was hoarse, but the lady was beaming with happiness. "Sandra! You are awake. I'm Mom, your mother." Seeing the familiar features on this woman and the concerned man beside her, I quickly believed them. Tears streamed down my cheeks. I had parents, after all. I'd always been a rogue, a person of unknown origins who wandered between packs. Without the moon goddess arrangement as Zayden's mate, I might not have had my own family and would have died alone. The thought of Zayden reminded me of those humiliating days, and the thought of my unborn puppy made my heart ache. "Sandra, my dear, please don't cry. It is our fault. We should have found you sooner so you wouldn't have had to suffer so long. Don't worry. My father swore, we will avenge you." They then told me that my father was the alpha of the Duskwood Pack, the largest in Skelvaria. My father's adversary abducted me more than a decade ago, hoping to use my life as leverage in negotiations with him. Although I was able to flee, I sustained a head injury that erased my memories of my family and identity. My parents had been looking for me for many years. When they heard about a mate in the Iron Moon Pack who had harmed their Luna over a pearl necklace, they suspected it could be me and went to retrieve it, only to find me by the road. Thank the moon goddess, I was finally reunited with my family. Meanwhile, chaos reigned in Zayden's realm. Answer me. Where is Sandra? The uneasy glances exchanged among his followers troubled Zayden, who barged into my room, only to find a rumpled bed and gleaming floors. This concoction will eliminate the fatherless pup in your stomach. Drink it, then leave. They grabbed my body and forced me to swallow the concoction. My puppy was my only family in this world, and I refused to let them harm it. Despite my best efforts, a starving woman was no match for Zayden's powerful subordinates, who threw me out of the castle after forcing it down my throat. I felt blood trickle down my legs and the hex lift as my unborn puppy slipped through my fingers. I couldn't leave yet because my necklace was still with Dalia. I crawled weakly until a pair of clean boots appeared in front of me, and then I looked up to see the woman I had been looking for. How pitiful you are, Sandra. Tisk. Take your filthy hands away from me. She stomped on my hand in disgust. Give my necklace back to me. I struggled to stand up and grab what was mine. As if I would want something so cheap. Dalia removed the necklace and threw it away, as if out of kindness of heart. Go get it and scram, Sandra. You'll never win against me, she mocked before leaving with a contemptuous smile. It took all of my strength to pick up the necklace from where she threw it before I passed out in the bushes. Suddenly, warm hands wrapped around me and an elderly woman brushed my hair away from my neck. After a careful examination, she exclaimed shakily, her birthmark. The necklace. It's Sandra. We have found her. A week later, Zayden returned to the castle and went directly to Dalia. He spent a long time asking how she felt before remembering my existence. Where is Sandra? Zayden inquired. I brought her a gift. His guard's hesitation caused him to feel uneasy. It was too late, the elderly couple had already taken me away, and the next chapter of my life had just begun. Where am I? I wondered. I felt as if I were lying on a soft bed, with a warm hand lifting my head and feeding medicine into my mouth. Fuzzy-eyed, I inquired, who are you? My voice was hoarse, but the lady was beaming with happiness. Sandra. You are awake. I'm Mom, your mother. Seeing the familiar features on this woman and the concerned man beside her, I quickly believed them. Tears streamed down my cheeks. I had parents, after all. I'd always been a rogue, a person of unknown origins who wandered between packs. Without the moon goddess arrangement as Zayden's mate, I might not have had my own family and would have died alone. The thought of Zayden reminded me of those humiliating days, and the thought of my unborn puppy made my heart ache. Sandra, my dear, please don't cry. It is our fault. We should have found you sooner so you wouldn't have had to suffer so long. Don't worry. My father swore, we will avenge you. They then told me that my father was the alpha of the Duskwood Pack, the largest in Skelvaria. My father's adversary abducted me more than a decade ago, hoping to use my life as leverage in negotiations with him. Although I was able to flee, I sustained a head injury that erased my memories of my family and identity. My parents had been looking for me for many years. When they heard about a mate in the Iron Moon Pack who had harmed their Luna over a pearl necklace, they suspected it could be me and went to retrieve it, only to find me by the road. Thank the moon goddess, I was finally reunited with my family. Meanwhile, chaos reigned in Zayden's realm. Answer me. Where is Sandra? The uneasy glances exchanged among his followers troubled Zayden, who barged into my room, only to find a rumpled bed and gleaming floors. He rushed to embrace her, his hands trailing over her body. Dalia jumped in shock. When she realized Zayden had mistaken her for me, she devised a plan. She turned around and embraced him in her arms after turning off the dim light she had been using for snooping. "It's me, Zayden," she said, mimicking my voice with sweetness. "I missed you so much." I was eating dinner with my parents when Zayden and Dalia fell into bed together. The searing pain of a friend's betrayal pierced my heart, causing me to collapse and shocking my parents. This incident served as a stark reminder that Zayden and I were still bonded together. My father was incensed. And here I thought the rogues would have him in a tight spot. How does he have the mind for this? That's when I realized my father had sent a spy into the rogues to sow discord. The spy had led them to believe Zayden had exaggerated the rogues' threat to Skelveria's Alpha King, prompting the Alpha King to send soldiers after them. After Zayden and Dalia were finished, I had to take the pain-killing concoction prepared by the pack physician to regain my senses. I asked my father, urgently, would the Alpha King punish you for contacting the rogues within Skelveria? He simply grinned. "Do not fret, Sandra. The Alpha King and I have been close allies for years. In fact, it was his suggestion in the first place. Skelveria appears to have gathered warriors from various packs across the country to fight the rogues. Iron Moon Pack not only withheld warriors, but also stole resources and funds intended for battle. This irritated the Alpha King, who had been waiting for an opportunity to exact revenge. I breathed out a sigh of relief. After discussing it with my parents, we decided that Zayden would not agree to break our bond. Our only hope was that the Alpha King could restore my freedom. The next morning, as we prepared to leave for the palace, an unexpected visitor appeared at our door. "Respected Alpha of the Duskwood Pack, greetings. I am Bishop, an elder of the Iron Moon Pack. There is a matter I wish to speak to you about." It was a rumpled old man with a knotted beard and muddy trousers. He bowed respectfully and gave my parents a beautiful gift. Despite looking much older and losing the air of nobility he once had, I recognized him right away. He was the one who forced the abortion potion down my throat and killed my puppy. My parents heard my screams through our mind link, and they were aware of the pain caused by this man. Bishop remained bowed, waiting for my father, the Alpha of the Duskwood Pack, to give him permission to stand and offer him a seat. Confused, he looked up to see me standing alongside the Duskwood Pack's Alpha and Luna. The three of us trembled with rage as we fixed our gaze on him. His expression changed to shock. Stepping forward, he reached out to me, "Sandra. What are you doing here? These two are the Alpha and Luna of the Duskwood Pack. Show some respect." Before we could react, he had forced my head down, causing me to bow alongside him. He then smiled apologetically at my parents. "I apologize, esteemed Alpha and Luna, this is our Alpha's mate, who went missing some time ago, please forgive her, she is an orphan with no upbringing." Bishop felt compelled to discipline me with his cane. He was furious, as the most dignified elder of the Iron Moon Pack, all he had to do was sit in his office and offer his thoughts. His job was simple. Until this shameless woman decided to hide the truth, which led Zayden to blame his mate's disappearance on him. She was the reason why, despite his age, he had to visit different packs and ask for their help. He had never cared for this vulgar orphan. She was Zayden's mate, but as pack elder, he felt entitled to teach me a lesson. My father intervened before he could strike me with his cane. He snatched Bishop's cane and knocked it against his head. "Pray tell, when has my daughter become an orphan with no manners?" Bishop clutched his head, shocked. "She's your daughter. We lost her when she was young, but she will forever be our most precious jewel. You, though. You've insulted her countless times and killed her puppy." My father yelled, "Guards! Drag this vile man out! Off with his head!" Bishop struggled until his last breath, and as I watched my tormentor meet his just punishment, I burst into tears of relief. With my parents by my side, I composed myself and we traveled to the palace of Skelvaria, where the Alpha King, Kingsley, lived. Kingsley empathized with my situation and immediately ended my relationship with Zayden. The moment the bond was released, I felt a weight lift off my shoulder. Zayden was whipping Dalia when he felt something lift and vanish within him. He felt he had lost something, so he inflicted more wounds on her. "It's entirely your fault, you harlot. Sandra will never return to me now that she knows I betrayed her." Dalia deeply regretted ever provoking this terrifying man, and no matter how she begged for mercy, Zayden showed no kindness or compassion for her. Furious, she yelled, "You're blaming me. Are you really saying you didn't recognize who you were with? How can you place all the blame on me?" Zayden raised his whip. Despite his intoxication that night, he had not completely lost his senses. He was drunk and enjoyed lying with another woman. "You did nothing when I bullied Sandra, either. She left because she didn't want to be someone so fake and cowardly. That has nothing to do with me." Zayden fell backward, limply. He could no longer lie to himself. It had been half a year since my relationship with Zayden was severed. Under my father's arrangement, I was able to visit various packs to negotiate and learn. My reputation grew over time, and everyone knew about the Duskwood Pack's Alpha's intelligent and attractive daughter. No one had tied me to Zayden's insignificant maid, so no one from the Iron Moon Pack had come. Until one day, when I was passing through Iron Moon Pack on my way home, a woman blocked my carriage's path. "Esteemed lady, I heard that you've saved wives who've suffered from their husband's abuse. Please, kind and esteemed lady, save me." Her clothes were rumpled, exposing scars and wounds scattered across her skin. She was also very underweight. Despite the change in her voice, I recognized her immediately. I stepped out and stood in front of her. "Is that so? How do you want me to help you, then?" Dalia looked up with hope, only to be met with a face she had not expected to see. "Sandra? Are you really here? You're alive?" I inquired. "Why? Would you have preferred me to be dead?" Dalia grabbed my legs rather than rising to her feet. "Why didn't you come back, then? Come on. Come back with me. Zayden almost killed me because of you." I kicked her hand away, mirroring her previous action when I asked for my necklace back. This is karma. You wanted to be Zayden's mate, didn't you? So go ahead. I have already left. Dalia trembled, as if I had evoked a haunting memory. No. I do not want to be his mate. He's insane. All he does is drown himself in alcohol and abuse me when he's drunk. She grabbed my shirt. Sandra, please. I'm sorry for what I did in the past. I'll give him back to you. You can have him back. Please, just save me. Seeing how pitiful she looked, the last of my hatred for her vanished. What goes around comes around, and this was the result of her decisions. However, I was not a saint. You can keep that man for yourself. I haven't forgotten how you treated me before. I can't help you. With that, my guards led her away, and I ignored her pleas. Dalia ran after us for a long time before collapsing from exhaustion. Her body was too weak to stand, and her clothes were caked with mud. She suddenly remembered how Sandra had fallen in a similar manner back then, and all she had done was further embarrass me. Dalia's eyes filled with tears of remorse. Dalia managed to crawl back into the castle around midnight. She couldn't leave yet. Her parents committed suicide a few months ago, amidst gossip and contempt from their pack mates. Their shameless daughter had become the talk of the group. Dalia's pup was the only family she had left, and he was in the castle, where Zayden could harm him. Dalia understood that if she left, Zayden would harm her pup, so she had to stay. Despite her selfish tendencies, Dalia was selfless when it came to her puppy. The sight before her chilled her to the core. Zayden, who was drunk, was violently shaking the cot while her young puppy cried out in terror. I said, "Shut up! Stop crying!" Zayden became irritated. Dalia dashed over to protect him just as he was about to muffle the pup. "What are you doing? Stay away from my pup! What took you so long? And where's the alcohol I asked you to get? You made me lose my beloved. How dare you raise your voice at me now? If you hadn't enticed me first, I would never have harmed Sandra like that. And she would have come back to me." Dalia sneered. "She must have severed her bond with you long ago. Or she would have died of agony after the things you've done these 6 months. Indeed." Zayden claimed to miss Sandra and despise Dalia, but that didn't stop him from taking Dalia when he was down. Zayden was infuriated. "Shut up! Without my consent, the only way she can sever our bond is through the Alpha King. And Sandra is just an orphan. How could she get in contact with the Alpha King? You must have killed her back then. I'll kill you all to avenge her." Dalia lifted her puppy and moved it out of harm's way. "You're crazy. Sandra's alive. I saw her today." Zayden was elated. "You did? Where is she?" Epilogue. Dalia smirked. "She's alive and the daughter of the head alpha of the Duskwood pack. I heard that they're close with the Alpha King. She must have severed your bond long ago. Her popularity is soaring too. I heard she has many suitors of noble backgrounds." Dalia paused, looking at Zayden with contempt. "You'll only embarrass yourself if you seek her out." Zayden felt offended. He had no fear of losing Sandra because she was an orphan. He believed that as long as Sandra lived, she would return to him because he was her only family. Sandra had ascended to become the respected daughter of the alpha of the prestigious Duskwood pack, and Xaden realized she'd never return. How do I get Sandra back? Xaden pondered frantically. As he looked at Dalia, who was comforting her puppy, a dangerous thought occurred to him. After meeting Dalia, I expected to see Xaden soon. However, he arrived sooner than I expected. Our guards stopped him outside the gates. He seemed excited to see me. Sandra! You're alive! I've missed you so much. Tears welled in his eyes, and his gaze was full of affection, but all I felt was disgust. Leave me alone, Xaden. We're not mates anymore. No. I refuse to accept it. You will always be my wife. I scoffed. You stopped being my husband every time you forced me to compromise, and when you indirectly killed our puppy. Xaden's loving expression faded into sadness. I know you hate me for what happened to our pup, but I've avenged him. He then pulled out a package from behind him and opened it. Look. I got this for you. Curious, I took a look and was shocked to the core. It was a puppy's body. What have you done? Xaden smiled. This is Dalia's bastard. I killed him to avenge our pup. Come back to me, Sandra. Please. We'll have more pups, I promise. I couldn't believe him. You're crazy, Xaden. Before I could chase him away, Dalia dashed out. She began hitting Xaden with all of her strength. Give him back to me. Give my pup back to me. Dalia cradled her pup's lifeless body in her arms, sobbing against the cold skin. Xaden scoffed. He's just a bastard. What's there to be sad about? Dalia growled at him. He is not. He is our pup. You got drunk 3 years ago and dragged me into your tent. Do you remember nothing about that night? Sandra was at home, sick with the flu, and she couldn't tell whether she was in pain because she was sick or because you betrayed her. Yes, I admit. There was someone I was sleeping with at the time, and I wondered if my puppy would be his, but I knew when I gave birth to our puppy. The other man was a hunting dog, but our puppy was a wolf. Xaden couldn't believe his ears. No. He's a total jerk. He's not my puppy. However, as he recalled that night, he came to believe her. Dalia sobbed, You murderer! You killed both of your pups. Dalia then jumped into the lake with her pup and disappeared. Xaden was stunned and muttered to himself, No, that cannot be my puppy. I did not kill my puppy. My pups. My pups, dazed, Xaden followed her into the river. As he slowly sank into the lake, he turned to look at me just before passing out. I read his lips as he mouthed I'm sorry. Following the tragedy, I became ill. When I recovered, I ordered guards to retrieve the 3 bodies from the lake. Dalia and Xaden's bodies were left to the wild beasts. As for their puppy, I had arranged for a priest to pray for him in the same way that he had for mine, in the hopes that they would both ascend to heaven together. I recovered from the ordeal thanks to my parents' support. I founded an organization to assist wives who had suffered abuse at the hands of their spouses. I had several suitors but had no desire to start a new relationship. There was so much left for me to do, and I was confident that my life would only improve even without a mate. Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.